just to see how much that I actually how much was taken out of my how much was taken out of my paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how much like people were paying for the packages and stuff. Pause. And just understand that, like, man, like, what happens if I take out the middleman and I just boss up and create my own? Now it'll cost more, but the ROI is way more, lucrative than just working hard for somebody that's putting a ceiling.
Right.
So, man, once and that honestly, it was one of the most humbling things, but at the same time, I think that's what needed to happen so that I can actually learn how to run a gym or how to just to run a business.
Business. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because so many people, like, if you think about it, right? So many people, like, for instance, right? Haven't done my taxes, nigga. I'm too turned up. You know what I'm saying? So it's, a lot of people struggle with just doing their day to day and the things that they need to do just to be responsible, like citizens and employees and workers, and not get like fucked around for their money, for lack of a better word. So to learn how to do that for a corporation, but it's your corporation. So you got to dot all the I's and cross the T's because you don't want to get crossed up in the game. But
mhm,
then you also are working for you. So one, you can't afford to fail. Two, you're not gonna let yourself fail.
facts. It's all on you. And you know something? It's funny because I work 7 days a week, and that's just by choice. And my thing is, I have a goal that I don't. Obviously, I haven't. Well, I don't tell everybody, but I have reasons as to why I do things. And every time that people will look at my schedule online, and like you, honestly, like you can check it out yourself. Um, and you'll see that every day that I'm working, and I'm on most busiest days I'm working maybe like 10 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
and again, all by choice. But my thing is, for me to be in the position that I'm in, I want to, like, just like Kanye West said, you don't want to leave when you hot. That's how they screwed up. So it's like I'm hot, and like I'm only getting hotter because of the production of the athletes and of the people that's weight loss or strength gain clients that I'm just making. Well, I'm not making people better. People just buying into what I believe in, and that's the biggest thing. Like, imagine you create something and you put basically all your eggs in one basket, and people really mess with you and they really rock with what you're doing, and they basically trust in your brand, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and like the people that I'm competing against, and I really don't look at anybody else, but the other gyms or trainers. A lot of the guys in my area, as far as trainers, like they don't have their own gym. They have outside, or they're using someone else's facility. So they always gonna have that overhead. For me, that was my whole thinking way back in like 2013. Like, I don't want to have somebody saying like, "Hey, you can't do X, Y, and Z." But in order to get to that step, I had to learn the ropes. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
work.
Nah, it's fair. And I mean, like, just looking at you, bro, like, just as far as we go back as friends, like, you've always, whatever you was doing was always bigger than what we was doing today. You remember, like, we would be running with people, we would be hanging out. And for some people, what was going on today, that was the biggest motherfucking, that was it. We'll figure out tomorrow. You
Right.
know what I mean? But like, you, film, just in so many ways, just the amount of times we talked, kick it, hung out, public, at the crib, video games. Remember we was playing Halo and shit. Like, but like, it was always A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E. Like, it wasn't gonna stop in just this segment of time that we hanging. And you always had a plan, yo. Like, even if you didn't know what the whole plan was gonna be, you was
Yo,
always you had the next 3 steps. And then it was like, all right, I just gotta figure out the 3 steps after that, but I'm gonna figure them out before I get there. And that's something I've always admired about you, bro. Like, for real, 100.
I appreciate that. But just how I had made a comment, I think now, but I had said it in our last podcast. You had basically regurgitated the same thing, and I was like, I got it from my dad. Everything, as far as I tell you this, you know, growing up, like I grew up with my mom from when I was basically a baby until I was about 12 or 13. Then I moved from New York to Virginia, and I moved with my dad. So growing up in my earlier years, like my mom, like her whole thing was like, whoopings and stuff. That was her way of, disciplining.
Yeah.
So it got to a point where, like, that's, as I got older, like it didn't affect me because I was getting bigger than her, and it's like, and on top of that, getting a little stronger. But then it's like
you start getting mannish, as
right,
we say in the South. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
But at the same time, like when I moved with my dad, he never put his hands on me, never. Like he would, like he's more of an intellectual guy. Like he will outthink you and let you think that you
were here.
You know what I'm saying? He's more like a chess kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So like he's always challenged me mentally, and he's always, showed me, love and compassion in his best way. And by him showing me how to be a man and how to plan, and even if you don't have it all figured out, just start something, because as soon as you start, it's easier to kind of pick up and keep going type thing. Yeah. And it's funny that you said that, because I've always had that mentality since I was 13. Ever since I was with him, like he's always put that kind of, thought process in me. And that's why now it's like, I really don't, not trying to sound like big head or anything, but I really don't need anybody for it.
You don't know no other way to think. Like you always, that's just how you move right now. That's just how you know what I mean? Like it's ingrained.
Right. So, oh man, and honestly, man, every time I go to my gym, I just get like overwhelmed thinking like, damn, like this is yours. And if you see my gym, it's a lot of stuff in there, and I put a lot of money into that. But the thing is, like, as much money as I put into it, I've made that back and then some. And you know what I'm saying? So imagine you say like, I feel super confident in my abilities, and I have enough clientele up to this point where I can be above water. And just saying that, people are going to see my hard work and they're going to come. And the fun thing about it is, like, in the beginning, a lot of people didn't come, and I had to sacrifice other stuff so that I can, be the person who I was and feel comfortable. So honestly, man, like I went through a lot of humbling experiences that I can speak on, and some that I don't want to speak on because, it's just stuff that it'd take a long time to get to because it was a lot. But once I got past that, it's like things that were highly effective, that were kind of negative. It's like I've gotten to the point where that stuff don't even affect me no more, because I've built my brand up to a point where the small things is just like it don't affect.
It's sustainable. You sustainable. You can weather a storm here or there. You're not dependent on the winds of change.
Right.